In the next video, we're going to be drawing an orchid. This is one example of an orchid. It's probably the most common orchid that I see in the grocery stores this time of year, around Mother's Day and around springtime. And you can tell they have 3 leaves. There's one here, kind of big one in front, one big one in front, and then 3 smaller ones here, here, and here in the back. And then it's got this funny looking middle section here where all of the pollen is on the inside, and it's got this kind of almost like a runway coming in for the bees and other insects to pollinate it. Also, they come in many different varieties. The one I just showed you was probably the most common, like I said, but there's millions of different varieties, and they are rainforest plants and usually hang from the trees. So if they grow on the tree and then they grow on the side of it, and then the flower part hangs down off the tree. So starting with our orchid, let's write it down. O-R-C-H-I-D. And then you're going to start by drawing 3 petals. You're going to kind of start in the middle here, and you're going to draw lightly. There's the one petal behind, this petal over here behind, and this petal over here behind. Almost looks like a fish swimming upward. And then from the center, you're going to make the other front petal that kind of curves in, curves out, and goes all the way down and around like this. Okay, and we're going to end up erasing this line and this line that are kind of behind, right? And then make this symmetrical and do the same kind of petal coming into the center, and we'll erase this line and this line. So I'm going to take my eraser now and erase those. Okay, so they're having that erased. Now we'll start with that centerpiece. We're going to start by doing the little top piece and the bottom piece. You're going to start here, and it's going to kind of curve out, curve up, curve back around and inside, kind of like that. And then try to make it as symmetrical as you can. I realize that's difficult, so just do the best you can. And that's kind of what the top part looks like. The bottom part kind of does the same thing. It almost looks like, I like to think of it as elephant tusks. It kind of curves out, curves in, back up, and then down, and curves back in like that. Almost like an elephant tusk. And again, curves out, points up, curves back, and in like that. Then the centerpiece is a circle. And then we can shade that part in because that's usually dark because there's the hole that goes down. And then the stem comes down off the center like this. Now, we, being here in North America, like to see flowers standing straight up. But like I said, orchids would be hanging upside down from a tree, and the tree would be like, imagine here's the tree, the orchid grows on the side, and then the flower is heavy and hangs down. But you go to the store and you'll see a little post right next to it, and then there's usually a little twisty tie around the post holding the stem of the orchid up, which I always think is kind of funny. But it looks nice, and that's what we're used to. So they usually have those standing up, even though they're meant to be flopping down in nature. So that's how you draw an orchid.